Welcome to the Airbnb Roadmap, the podcast designed to navigate you through the entire journey of short-term rental success. Whether you're just starting out or ready to take your hosting game to the next level. My husband and I became super hosts within just months of launching our first Airbnb and have proudly kept that title ever since. With over 350 reviews and an overall 4.95 star ratings, we picked up a hack or two I'm excited to share with you. In each episode, I break down the strategies, insights, and industry secrets that set profitable short-term rentals apart. From choosing the right property, understanding local regulations, and obtaining your listing to go beyond just the basics. I'm here to share everything you need to succeed. So if you're ready to map out your path to Airbnb success and unlock the full potential of short-term rentals, join me on the Airbnb Roadmap. Your journey starts here. Hey guys, I'm Brittany Wenninger from Porch Realty, powered by Real Broker LLC, and welcome back to another episode of the Airbnb Roadmap podcast. I will admit I am so sorry for missing last week. I think I just needed like a little bit of a break from Airbnb, short-term rentals, like from the whole dishwasher shenanigans. I just needed like a mental like pause on everything except for like obviously like managing them, which isn't really that hard when it comes to like talking to the guests, accepting, denying, working through some problems. Like that's not that hard. But just like going back and forth to the properties, I just needed a break from that. I needed a break from I just need to debrief. And last week, I was like, you know what? Like, I could put out an episode. It would not be that good at all, but I could just put something out to put something out. And I just decided not to. So it was a nice little like pause and then regroup. Also, during that time, I found some amazing speakers to go on the podcast, and I'm super, super excited. One of them, I'm kind of freaking out. He's known in the short-term rental industry, so I'm not going to say who it is because I'm afraid that if I say who it is, I'm going to jinx it and he might not come on, which would be kind of crappy. But I'm like super excited about it. I still have to record the episode with him, but I'm hoping to do that this week. And yeah, it's going to be great. Definitely like keep on checking in, see who I'm talking about. It's going to be a really, really good episode. Another news about the dishwasher shenanigans. So I don't know if you don't follow me on Instagram, you definitely should. I put a lot of just like shenanigans out there because why not? That's just kind of who I am. And some things with the dishwasher. So the guy comes and and I'm like super excited. I'm like, heck yeah, like it's time to get this dishwasher. Let's go. Well, he comes with the dishwasher and he was like, ooh, this is the hookup. And I was like, yeah, like it's one wire. He's like, I can't install. I was like, what do you mean you cannot install this? He's like, I'm not a master electrician. And I'm like, okay, well, do you have to be a master electrician to like install this dishwasher? Like, your job is literally to drop off dishwashers and install them. Are you saying that you do not install any dishwasher that is hardwired in? He's like, correct. I was like, that's suspicious. And I was like, well, at least this dishwasher isn't like defected. And he was like, well, what do you mean? I was like, well, the last guy took the dishwasher. He said it was defective because there was too many wires. He's like, no, that's how all these dishwashers come now. And I was like, are you kidding me? So the guy literally took a normal dishwasher back because he thought that it was defected and wasted like 2 more weeks, even another drive from my rental property, another drive for me because it wasn't actually defected. Like, come on. So the current guy, he was like, do you still want this dishwasher? I was like, yeah, you are not taking this dishwasher out of this property. I am keeping this dishwasher. So I called Clay and he's like, well, we can do it on Sunday. I'll be there. And I was like, all right, cool. So I had to, like, put the new dishwasher in the original spot and then, like, just write the guest a note saying, like, "Hey, the dishwasher's here, it's just not installed." Like, the Home Depot guy just wouldn't install it. So they were very nice about it, which is awesome, but this whole dishwasher thing, like, I would never buy a appliance from Home Depot ever again. The people that they hire to install and drop off and all that stuff, they are hooligans. Like, the first guy thought that the dishwasher was defected, even though it wasn't. And then the second guy just was like, "Oh, I'm not a master electrician. Sorry." And then in between all of that stuff, the first guy took the old dishwasher and never like plugged any of the pipes. So when you turned on the water, there was a little hose coming out of the garbage disposal that was leaking. And then there was a whole other leaking shenanigan. So we did have to file a claim with Home Depot. They paid for the plumbing and then also paid for us to quote unquote fix it, even though we're not going to fix it. But I did have to have a contractor there to quote that out. So they did give us money for all that. But was it really worth it in the end? No, not really. Like, we are plus 600 for all of this stuff. Like, we made $600 by all the shenanigans. But did we really because of my time? I don't really think so. So that kind of brings me into today's episode. And we are going to be talking about something that comes up all of the time when people are deciding where to buy their very first short-term rental. Should you invest close to your home where you can drive there whenever you want? Or should you invest long distance in a market that might actually perform better? There are pros and cons for both, and after owning properties in different locations, I have definitely noticed some patterns that are worth talking about. So let's just start with long distance investing because this is one that scares most of the people, like mostly everyone, especially if you're a first time investor. I will admit, it still scares me. When you buy a property that is literally several hours away, or even in a whole nother state, or shoot, let's just say even country, you are forced to build systems that rely on your small but mighty team. And honestly, that could be a really good thing. You can't run over there every single time that something happens. So you naturally have to create systems to be successful. You hire a cleaner that you trust, you find a reliable handyman, and maybe even a lawn care person, snow removal, all that good jazz. Honestly, it just depends on where you are investing. So another really good contact to have, and I know a little scary, is your next door neighbor. And if you're just like very respectful to them, then you can get their contact number and be like, "Hey, can you take out the trash?" Or "Could you be my go to person if I need anything?" This will solve a huge problem that I am facing right now. And instead of you being the solution for every problem, you become the person that is managing the solutions and managing the systems. What I notice that long distance property can actually become more hands off once the right people are in place. Your cleaner becomes your eyes and ears, your handyman handles the small fixes, your systems handle the communication. I personally use Hospitable. Hospitable has been like my number one property management software. I love Hospitable, and they're actually rolling out some really cool features that I'm kind of like, I'm super excited to use. I just want them to like fix a little bit of the bugs. But once they do, like, I'm literally like, my whole business will be Hospitable. So that is the property management system that I use for all of my communication. And I mean, it's been working for me. Instead of physically solving problems, you can coordinate the solutions. In a weird day, being far away can force you to run your property more like a business rather than a hobby. And I'm not saying that like we run our business like a hobby, but it's definitely like we are more hands on than we would like to. And that's literally because all of our properties are around like that 2-hour mark drive. But let's talk about investing close to your home because there are definitely benefits there too. When a property is in your backyard, it feels more convenient. If something breaks, you can just drive there and fix that problem. If you need to swap out any decoration, it's not that huge of a deal. Like we had one of our coffee tables break. I just honestly took one of our house coffee tables in our game room that we like barely use anymore, and I just swapped it out really quickly. And when you first start off, you could feel like that this like how close all your properties are, it's a huge advantage and it's more of an adventure and you're like, yeah, like I'm saving all this money, blah blah blah. But when you get down the road, your time is money. So are you really saving that much time? Not really, because you just drove 2 hours to switch out a coffee table and then 2 hours back. So that is now 5 hours. How much do you charge yourself for 5 hours? And that's a huge question to ask yourself is how much are you charging per hour for your time? And is that even worth it? And another really great example, hate to say it again, but the dishwasher. I don't wanna say that I wouldn't trust someone to go through that process because, I mean, it wasn't really that hard, but the problem was that every single time that someone needed to go to the property, I had to be there. I could have had my cleaner do it or my handyman or anything like that, or even, like, ask the next door neighbor. I could have done that, but I didn't want to because I was like, "This is such a weird situation as is." I don't think I could really I wouldn't wanna put someone else in that situation. Now, if that property was in a whole 'nother state, that would be a whole different ballgame because then I would have to rely on those people to help me out. And yes, would it cost me more money in the end? It would, but also it would save me so much time because I think just driving wise, I drove 1, 2, probably around 12 hours. 12 hours of driving just because of this dishwasher. And I will admit, I definitely try like explain that to Home Depot people that like I'm not that close and time is money. Like I can't keep on going back and forth and they did not give a shit. Like they're like, not my problem. I'm like, but it is. It's your problem. But anyways, I am done talking about this dishwasher. I'm over it. Am I really over it? Not really. But I'm gonna tell you I'm over it so I can have a better mindset about it. But anywho, if any of those situations came up when you have an Airbnb across the state, the biggest question that you need to ask, who can I assign to be the quote unquote owner of the property? A lot of the times, property owners will actually assign this person to the cleaner, especially if they already know the property well and are comfortable at letting someone in. The cleaner I swear, like, cleaners are like the lifeline of your property. But sometimes it could be the handyman if they repair a lot of things in your property, which hopefully that's not the case. But handyman are also really reliable as well. The only crappy part about having a handyman there is that they're probably going to charge you extra per hour. Because a lot of these times that, like, let's say I'm not going to say it, but when another appliance shows up, it says delivery time between 4 hours. We'll give you a 30-minute notice. Do you have the handyman there the whole time or do you just give them the 30-minute notice? So that kind of becomes a little tricky and you have to troubleshoot of like, all right, who's going to be cheaper, handyman or cleaner? Or even better case is the neighbor, are they retired? Are they just, well, they have to be over 18 to like have someone come into the property. But what about the neighbor? Could the neighbor let them in? I personally, in the, all situational based, but I think that the neighbor is probably going to be your best ideal quote unquote owner because they're right there. You give them the 30-minute notice and they can just like pop right over to the property, let that contractor in, and then call it good. If you hired a property manager, 100% that person's the property manager. They already committed to you saying, I am the property manager. I will manage your property. That's kind of the pro about having a property manager, especially out of state, is that you don't really have to worry about that because you already assigned someone. You're already paying them 15, 20%. So might as well keep on using them like that. Now, if you are self-managing, that's a little bit of a different story because you have to figure out who is going to be that owner. But when you are investing out of state, out of country, I would say that's the biggest hiccup and struggle is who's going to be that owner. Because the lawn care person, you can just see if they cut the yard by looking at your cameras. The cleaner, you can see when they entered the property by checking the cameras and or even the schlag. And you can have them take before and after photos so you know that they did a good job. Your handyman, you know, that's kind of the handyman's a little tricky because you don't know if they are price gouging you or not. But having a good, reliable handyman, you're gonna gain trust really quickly, and then once you do, the rest is easy. You just call them up saying, "Hey, can you come to 123 Banana Phone?" Sorry, 123 Main Street, and they would just like go right there. So you have cleaner, lawn, handyman. Your lawn person is probably gonna do snow removal if it's a snowy place. Um, and then other than that, that's pretty much it. There are some times that your handyman it's like too complex for them, so then you have to hire a different contractor, but that's usually not the case. Now, if you tell any of these like contractors besides like the ones that give you like a 4-hour window, if you just say like, "Hey, this is a rental property, just go on in." Most of the contractors kind of like that because now they know that no one's going to be bugging them. So that's the good part. The bad part is when people are like, someone needs to be there. And I'm like, come on, do they really? I really need to get over the whole dishwasher thing. I do. Okay, I swear, this is going to be the last episode that I mention this. So, yeah, we're going to kick it to the dust, everyone. Kick it to the dust. Now, when we talk about owning your first Airbnb, would I invest out of state right away? I personally, and this is just my own personal take, I don't think I would because I think that you need to go through the process of this is how long it takes to clean the property if your cleaner does not show up or something. This is the struggle with this yard because this yard is a huge slope. This is the struggle of mowing the grass and all that stuff. And getting into kind of like the dirt of it will help you appreciate your small mighty team when you do invest out of state because then you're like, oh, you charged me $100 to mow the lawn. I totally get it. That that slope, that yard is kind of difficult. Like, I understand. I think it just makes you a little bit more humble. So all of our properties are 2 hours or less. So yes, we go there a lot to do yard care and maintenance and all that stuff. I don't think that I regret doing that because honestly, like Clay and I are just so OCD about our property and our business that it would have been hard to gain that trust with other people right out of the bat. Like that's hard for us. And am I regretting having all of our properties that close? Not really. Now, am I getting more savvy with my time because of baby Melanie? Absolutely. Like, there has been a couple times that could I have drove to one of our rental properties to fix the solution? I could have, but I decided not to. Even this was kind of like, I don't really want to say the word ballsy because it's not ballsy, but it was risky. the proper word is risky. So every year we have to have a tourist rooming house inspection. That's not for all the properties, just for this one. They do it annual now. It's kind of ridiculous, but whatever. Well, this is the first time they got inspected after, like, I think 4 years of running this property, and I was super nervous, I will admit, because, everything is still exactly the same, but when I talked to her on the phone, she was like, "Oh, hey, you have to have a, um" oh my gosh, what's it called? A puke and diarrhea protocol in your welcome book. I was like, "Wait, what? Puke and diarrhea protocol?" I was like, "If someone is puking, like, just deal with it." But in the guidebook, I had to say, like, contact the host, isolate yourself, like, all this stuff. And then the other thing was that we have to have a exit strategy if something were to happen. How do you exit the house? Well, there's windows everywhere. It's just like a ranch style. It's, like, small. So that was a little comical of, like, get out of your room, go through the door, like, just stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I decided that I did not have to be there. I'm trying to value my time a little bit more, and I was like, "You know what? What like, if I'm there, what will happen? She's literally gonna see the exact same thing. If she has any questions, she could call me." So I decided to not show up. It was an option. I told her, "Baby Melanie, she needed me." Was that true? Not really. But it did save me 3 hours of driving and then 1 hour of being with her. So things like that, like, you will just notice, like, is that really worth my time? Yes or no. Now, when you invest out of state, obviously your time is just over the phone. You just have to, like, do everything over the phone and trust your small and mighty team. When you invest close by, you still obviously have to trust your small and mighty team, but you are pretty much the backup plan. Like, if anything were to go wrong, you're able to go to the property and deal with it yourself. So there's a lot of pros and cons to both, but at the end of the day, you have to figure out what makes sense to you. Investing long distance to a market that's probably a little bit better, and then trusting your teammates, or investing in your backyard. Maybe, the market's not as good, but at least you get hands-on experience on how to manage your properties. So, yeah, that's your decision. Now, if you have any questions about that, you know how to find me on Instagram, and also check out our spiffy new website. It's actually really, really good. Nothing I could have done. My marketing team did it, and absolutely amazing. And if you have any questions about that, like the course, the mentorship, let me know. I'm here for you. But I will see you in the next episode. And I'm, again, very excited about all these guests that will be coming on, because they are amazing. And there's one in particular that I'm like, oh my gosh, let's go. I'm super excited to have him on the podcast. So stay tuned. Thanks for joining me on the Airbnb Roadmap. If you're loving these episodes and want to keep the conversation going, be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with someone who's ready to dive into the world of short-term rentals. Got a question or topic you would love to hear about? Reach out. This podcast is all about learning and growing together. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram, the Airbnb Roadmap Podcast, for more tips, tricks, and behind-the-scene insights. Until next time, here's to turning your short-term rental dreams into thriving realities. I'll see you back here soon.